Every single moment of your life, whether you're fast asleep or running a marathon, your body is performing this invisible, super high stakes balancing act. It's like a constant microscopic battle just to keep everything in perfect harmony.
And I mean that literally. Your life is resting on these scales, perfectly balanced. But that brings up a really important question, right? What happens when they tip? Because when they do, the consequences can be, well, catastrophic. To understand that, we kind of have to look at the rules of the game. And it all comes down to a little something you probably remember from science class, pH. For your body, though, this isn't just some number on a chart. It's the razor-thin window between being healthy and being in serious, serious trouble. I mean, just look at how tiny that window is. See that little green zone in the middle labeled normal? That's the tightrope that all of your body's chemistry has to walk 24/7. If you drift just a little bit into acidosis or the other way into alkalosis, your body's machinery starts to break down. Your enzymes fail, your cells malfunction, and if you go too far in either direction, it can be fatal. This is it. This is the magic range. Just 1/10 of a point on the entire pH scale. Your body's whole incredibly complex setup is dedicated to one thing: keeping your blood locked right inside this super precise life-sustaining boundary. It's amazing. So, to put it simply, if your pH drops below 7.35, your system's gone too acidic. That's what we call acidosis. If it climbs above 7.45, it's too basic or alkaline. That's alkalosis. They're really just two sides of the very same dangerous coin. So, how does the body pull this incredible feat off? How does it stay in that narrow window? Well, it doesn't just have one system for the job. It's got this whole team of 3 highly specialized defenders working around the clock to maintain that perfect pH balance. So first up, you've got the buffer system. This one is instant. Think of it like a chemical sponge that just soaks up any excess acid or base immediately. Then, within minutes, your respiratory system, yep, your lungs, kicks into gear, changing how you breathe to either vent out more CO2 or hold onto it. And then, playing the long game, you have the renal system, your kidneys. They're slower, but they are the powerful, precise regulators. What's really happening here is that these 3 defenders are working together like the world's most sophisticated chemistry lab. They're constantly monitoring, adjusting, and correcting things to keep those scales perfectly balanced. But what happens when this amazing system gets overwhelmed? What if there's an illness or an injury that's just too much for the defenders to handle? Well, that's when the scales really start to tip in the wrong direction. So, if the body's best defenders are in a fight they can't win, what happens then? The result is what doctors call an acid-base imbalance. The body's own safety measures have failed, and at this point, medical intervention is pretty much the only way to tip those scales back toward survival. And when that happens, healthcare pros need a fast way to figure out what exactly went wrong. To do that, they use this really clever and simple tool for decoding the problem, and it's known by the mnemonic ROAM. Let's break down how this brilliant little shortcut works. First, we have R, and the R stands for respiratory. This points to a problem that's rooted in the lungs. Then you have O, which stands for opposite. In a respiratory imbalance, the body's pH level and its carbon dioxide level will move in opposite directions. So if one goes up, the other goes down, simple as that. Now for the other half of the puzzle. M stands for metabolic. This basically covers almost every other cause. Things involving the kidneys or conditions like diabetes. And that brings us to E, which stands for equal. In a metabolic imbalance, the pH and another key substance called bicarbonate, they move in the same direction. They're equal. If one goes up, the other goes up right along with it. So what is ROAM? It's just a simple rule for reading blood tests. Respiratory opposite, metabolic equal. It's an absolutely crucial shortcut that lets doctors look at just a few numbers, instantly pinpoint the cause of a life-threatening problem, and get the right treatment started fast. So let's bring it all back home, this entire complex system, with its ridiculously narrow windows, its team of defenders, and these clever diagnostic tools, it's all working for one single purpose: to maintain that delicate balance. That invisible, constant fight is what keeps every single one of us alive and functioning. Seriously, when you realize this microscopic battle is being fought and won inside you millions of times a second, it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other incredible, invisible systems are working right now just to keep you, you?